What is the importance of owning your own publishing? What is your take? Well, first of all, what's the importance of owning your own publishing?
Well, that's the thing that no one ever really speaks about too much, but the publishing is where the money's at. Yes. Touring and publishing is where the money's at. But publishing is where the money's at, I say, because it'll be there forever. If you're 15 years old and you made that hit, when you're 25, 35, 45, 55, 65 years old, you're still going to be getting checks if it's a hit. If it's not a hit, don't expect any checks. But that's where the publishing is. If you don't own your publishing, 30, 40, 50 years later, you're not going to be getting any royalty checks to help you pay for your kids' college or your medical bills or your mortgage.
You know, when I learned about publishing, well, I kind of knew about it, but it didn't really hit me like reality-wise until I heard about Missy Elliott crashing. No, she sued a valet company because they crashed a Ferrari, which cost 7 zeros. It was a 7-0 worth Ferrari, and I didn't even know she had that kind of money. But you know, she writes her own music,
right?
Lyrics-wise, she does her own beats. So that's when I realized, well, wait a minute here, what's going on? Because there's other people that came out the same time she did, and they didn't have her kind of Ferrari money. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting.
It's when it comes to songwriting. That's a real talent, because you could write songs for yourself and be your own artist, and then you could also write songs for other artists that are popular, and you could write songs for them, and when they sing them, you'll get paid too. Yeah,
like ghostwriters.
Yeah, ghostwriters is what they call them. Ghost, because no one really knows about who wrote the song. All you see is Rihanna sing the song.
Right.
Or maybe the Dream may have wrote the song for her.
Like that song.
It becomes a really big song. And people say, Rihanna sang, you know that new song that she sang? Is
Hard.
Oh,
Dream wrote that song, Hard.
Great. Oh my God. And next thing you know, someone wrote those lyrics for her to sing. And that dude doesn't just write it for her and take $1,000 and leaves. He makes sure he gets his publishing too. Publishing credit, writer's credit. And so, if he does it for Rihanna and a couple of other people. So that's what keeps checks going into his pocket, because he has publishing rights.
So in other words, what you're trying to tell us is our record deal is important, but not as important as a publishing. It's a loan.
Your record deal is a loan, my man.
Can you break that down? Because I never heard that before.
Yeah, it's basically a loan. People see, the problem is, a lot of the kids go to school and they wind up dropping out. And there's nothing wrong, you know, I'm not saying dropouts are the worst people. I know a lot of people that dropped out and they're really successful, some of them.
Beyonce, Nas.
I'm not going to say that, because some people got homeschooling. I think Beyonce probably got homeschooling. But, you know, the point is this, though. Nas, whoever, I'm sure that if they knew the music business and the laws about the music business and about points and about publishing and about management, I'm sure if they knew about these sectors before they signed contracts, I'm sure they probably would have had way better deals. The problem is a lot of the kids don't read books, they don't read anything, they just think they put out mixtapes, and that's great, that's part of it, but if you know your rights, or if you know how deals are made and about percentages, which has to do with math, which you have to take in school, you know, it's not just chopping up a brick and grams and pies and cake. It's what's written on paper, what lawyers write about. It's a different language.
Which becomes documented, and you have to abide by it.
It's a different language. When you see those type of lines of words, it's different from lines of drugs or anything that's glorified. that's drug money, that's whatever it is. But we're talking about when you go to a record label that has lawyers that write these contracts up. And these kids, this is like, they roll that dice. This is it, baby. You gotta make it. You gotta hit it. And if you get that chance for a record deal, you forget to read the small print. You just go, you sign this contract, and next thing you know, someone got your publishing. You got for your stuff now. Like, you know, it used to happen a whole lot more. I think some people are wisening up now. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, that's what it's about. Knowing about percentages, knowing your self-worth, you know, and getting a good deal, which is hard. That's why you have to get a good lawyer, liar, whatever you call them. You know, it's all a game.
You know what I realized?
You gotta keep an eye on your lawyer too.
And accountant. You know what I realized? Most artists, they have the similar complaints in common when it comes to major labels. One of them being that the labels restrict the artistic expressions and demand the artists to make music for a particular message. It could be contrary to what, you know, they feel they want to put out. Do you feel that the labels pressure producers to do the same thing? If so, how? I know some pressures for producers is you gotta make a hit. You gotta make a hit.
Producers, all right. This is basically what happened to the music. Hip hop came out of the jungle. It was this crazy music, and it was a hit with the youth. And the youth from the inner cities are the original A&Rs. Those are the people. The people in the neighborhood were the original customers. So they made this music, and that was great. So these people, investors, record labels that liked these artists said, okay, look, man, we really don't know much about your culture, but hey, man, we dig what you're doing, man. You're really hip and cool. Just keep doing that rap stuff, man. We'll sign you to this contract, man. You guys are going to be big. Rap is going to be big. And sign these young people, you know, these young rappers, Sugar Hill and all these other rappers that made this original hip-hop music, that made it funky and it sold to the youth just like that. Then they started understanding later on with Run DMC that people that listened to these rappers would actually go out and buy a pair of Adidas because the rappers said it. So that's when the culture changed a bit. Okay, now that whole time, rappers were just happy to get a contract and get some sneakers and a jogging suit and look fresh. But the corporations were the ones that were really had something else in mind, like, damn, this is great, man. We give these kids some free sneakers, send them here and there, and our sneaker sales are going skyrocket. So that's when everything kind of changed. So now record labels started to understand that, you know what, we signed some new artists, this new music called hip hop, and it's doing okay, but we want to sell more of it. So after a while, instead of letting the artists do what they did, which is just do their own music how they felt it, they started molding MCs because they want a pop hit like Wild Thing by Tone Loc,
correct,
or Young MC Bust a Move, or you know, they want that OPP. You know, or they want that It Takes Two, Rob Bass and Easy Rock. They want that, you know, Groove Is in the Heart. They want music that's going to really sell millions of copies. So
they want that crossover appeal.
That crossover appeal, you know. We used to watch videos on Video Music Box, which was pretty raw. MTV came through and put some colorful stuff on it and like kind of made it more like, you know, crossed it over a whole lot more to their audience originally. The first hip-hop videos were not on MTV.
So you don't think there's a pressure on producers to change their style of music?
Well, yes, I do think that, you know, it's a pressure on artists and producers. Because like I said, the record deal is a loan. They loan you this money, and you're supposed to make your album, and off of your album sales, you're supposed to pay back that money that they loan you to make the album.
The advance money, correct?
The advance money. That's why it's a loan. People just think that you go in, You sign a piece of paper, they give you a check, and if your album doesn't sell, you're good. You get to keep the money. They signed you for $1 million. Ooh, it's not like that. You gotta pay that money back, man. So, you know, and if you don't own your publishing, and trying to pay that money back, it's really hard, man. So it's really good to know a bit about the music business. I might not know everything about it. I just know a little bit, and I'm just sharing that with you. But it gets even deeper.
This cat was troublesome.